And everyone out there in the world, this is Nihility Sagittarius, and this is going to be a general reading for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Jupiter for the second half of the Sun transitioning the sign of Libra. Now, of course, the Sun represents our actions, our viewpoints, and how we see the world around us, as well as correlates to our wants, and it's going to be in the energies of Libra, which is cardinal air, initiating and creating new ways of thinking and communicating. And Libra was born out of the 7th house of relationships and how you relate to others. Now, you Sagittarius are mutable fire, being mutable and adaptable to your own and other people's ways of feeling the emotions. And Sagittarius was born out of the 9th house of long distance travel, both externally and internally, and higher knowledge and wisdom as well. So, Sagittarius, you are going to be sextile in this energy. So, with that being said, you're going to have opportunities to be more initiative with your communication when it comes to your mutable fire energies, while the Sun is transitioning the sign of Libra as a whole. So, I'm going to shuffle the Universal Celtic Tarot deck a couple more times to throw clarification cards out from the Waite deck, and then pull 3 cards from the Moonology Oracle deck to see what Mother Moon has to say to you through me to end the reading off. So, let's get to pulling. I hope everybody's having a good Libra season. All your Sagittarius are having a good Libra season, and everybody is doing well presently. Excuse the dogs if they start going off and then acting weird. So. So your overall energy of the reading is the Justice card, which is Libra energy. So you could be dealing with the Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus, or have Libra in your chart. And so these energies will be amplified for you during the second half of the Sun transitioning the sign of Libra. But overall, you are creating a sense of balance and harmony and relatability in your circumstances, situation that you're dealing with in the present moment during this second half of the Sun transitioning the sign of Libra. Now, your first card is the 6 of Wands. So the 6 of Wands is talking about you being in a place of victory. So this is a really good card to see. Just don't let this victorious moment prevent you from moving any further in life and keep you stuck in one place. But you are in a victory, in a place of victory at this moment. Now, the second card is the Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands is you being passionate, independent, going after what you want and desire in a passionate way. Not necessarily not caring for others, but not caring about others' thoughts and feelings towards what you want to go after. And when it comes to your wants and desires, and you're doing so very passionately, like I said. So, and keep in mind that this is a very attractive energy. So, while being in this energy, this is going to attract people to you. So, now your third card from the Universal Celtic Tarot deck is the Tower card, which is Scorpio energy. So you could be on the cusp of Scorpio Sagittarius, or have Scorpio be dealing with a Scorpio Sun, Moon, Rising, or Mars, or have Scorpio somewhere else in your chart. And so these energies will be amplified for you during the second half of the Sun transitioning the sign of Libra. But overall, you are there is a Tower moment that's coming. We'll clarify this. That's to see what this is about. But there is a Tower moment in your life, or it's going to happen, or already has happened, just remember that after the Tower comes the Star card, so focus on healing and being optimistic. If this is this with positive things crumbling down, if it's negative things that crumbling down, then the Tower moment doesn't. And with that being said, the Tower moment isn't always negative. It can be negative things crumbling down too. So just keep that in mind. Now your fourth card for Universal Cards Tarot deck is the Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles is talking about you moving slow, methodical, and practical, and in a practical way towards what you want and desire in your life during the second half of the Sun transition in the sign of Libra. So with that being said, you're doing your best to get things done in a practical way, but you must watch out for procrastination during this time while the Sun is transitioning in the second half of Libra. Don't let yourself procrastinate, but keep thinking practical and moving at your own pace. Just don't move so too slow, like I said. Now, with the fifth card from the Universal Tarot deck, you get is the Four card, which is Aries energy. So you could be dealing with an Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Mars, or have Aries in your chart, and if so, these energies will be amplified for you during the second half of the Sun transitioning the sign of Libra. So, with that being said, you are entering a new beginning, a new adventure in your life presently during the second half of the Sun transition in the sign of Libra. But you must watch out for taking too many risks. But there are risks involved with new beginnings and new adventures as a whole. So you're entering a new beginning and an adventure during the second half of the Sun transition in the sign of Libra. Now, your sixth card from the Universal Tarot deck is the Temperance card, which is Sagittarius energy. So you could be dealing with the Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Jupiter, or have Sagittarius in your chart, and so these energies will be amplified for you during the second half of the Sun transitioning sign of Libra. So overall, you are combining two or more worlds together and doing your best to create that equilibrium within those two worlds, whether that be work life and your personal life and your relationship life, whatever the case may be. You are doing your best to balance these two worlds out in equilibrium so you can get things done effectively during the second half of the Sun transition in the sign of Libra. Now, with the seventh card from the Universal Tarot deck, you get is the King of Swords. So this is you think very up in your head, thinking logical and being assertive and fail. But also you could be too stuck in your head and overthinking stuff. So do your best to balance out your thoughts and emotions in an equilibrium or an equal way during the second half of the Sun transition in the sign of Libra, because this card can represent you being stuck up in your head, but you are being assertive and speaking. This is also a card about speaking the truth as well. So, with that being said, continue to be logical and don't be too assertive to its overbearing, but assertiveness is good, especially with yourself. And being fair and analytical, but again, do your best to balance out your thoughts and emotions during the second half of the Sun transition in the sign of Libra. Now, your seventh card from the Universal Tarot deck is the Four of Cups. So the Four of Cups is talking about you feeling a bit discontent. You may be focused on what you don't have instead of focusing on what you do have during the second half of the Sun transition sign of Libra. Do your best to not be in that energy of focusing on what you don't have, but instead be grateful for what you do have during this time, so you aren't feeling so discontent during the second half of the Sun transition sign of Libra. Now your last card, but definitely not least, from the Universal Tarot deck is the Star card. which is Libra, not Libra, but Aquarius energy. So you could be dealing with an Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Saturn, or have Aquarius in your chart, and if so, these energies will be amplified for you during the second half of the Sun transition in the sign of Libra. But overall, you are being optimistic and focusing on healing during the second half of the Sun transition in the sign of Libra. So, let's move on to clarifications. And clarifying the Justice card is the Eight of Swords. So, you are doing your best to create a sense of balance and harmony and resolution, but it's coming from the fact that you are feeling trapped up in your head and you feel this sense of needing to make balance in your life. Do your best to know that this is your own doing and you're not really trapped in your own head, but you're allowing yourself to be trapped in your own head to create higher perspectives and positive thoughts and feelings so you can balance things out in an equal way, more efficiently and effectively during the second half of the Sun transition in the sign of Libra. Now, with the Six of Wands, the Six of Wands is clarified by the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups is talking about being disappointed and focusing on what you no longer have in your life instead of focusing on what you do have, similar to the Four of Cups. But with it clarifying the victory card, the Six of Wands, even though you're in a place of victory, you very well could be feeling like you are missing something out. Keep in mind that we have a bunch of retrogrades in effect with Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, Mercury is all in retrograde. So it may feel like we're missing out of those. We're focused on things that we no longer have in our life, but know that that's no use when you are in fact in a place of victory at this time. So, clarifying the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is clarified by the King of Swords. So, the King of Swords is talking about, again, being assorted, fail, up in your head. We're wanting to speak your truth as well. And but you must not let your thoughts overrun you and get to you overthinking. But this is what's driving you to be optimistic and passionately going after what you want and desire, because that's all you can think about at this time. Do your best to balance out your thoughts and emotions in equilibrium moving forward during the second half of the Sun transition in the sign of Libra. Now, let's move on to the Tower card. And the Tower card is clarified by the Knight of Cups. So, the Knight of Cups is talking about you emotionally going after what you want and desire during the second half of the Sun transition in the sign of Libra. But by doing this, you are going to run across a tower moment in your life during the second half of the Sun transition in the sign of Libra, while you're emotionally going after what you want and desire in your life. I don't know what this is about. Y'all will know what this is about each individually. I'm just reading the cards as they appear. Now, with the Knight of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles is clarified by the Two of Wands. So the Two of Wands is talking about planning. As you can see here, the man is looking out and looking into the world, which the world is the bigger picture of your life and circumstances, situation overall. And while doing this, you plan accordingly. So I feel like you're doing your best to plan accordingly and what's best for you and your highest spirit and balance your well-being. By looking at the bigger picture, you are moving slowly and methodically and practically towards what you want and desire while doing so during the second half of the Sun transition in the sign of Libra. So, your fifth card from the Universal Collective Tarot deck, being the fourth card, is clarified by the Nine of Cups. So by being in this energy of emotional independence, you are entering a new beginning, a new adventure in your life. By focusing on what fills you up emotionally, you have everything that you need in the emotional realm, but you may not have everything that you want in the emotional realm. But regardless of that fact, this is driving you to start this new beginning during the second half of the Sun transition in the sign of Libra. Now, the Temperance card is clarified by the Nine of Wands, and the Nine of Wands is talking about you going through experiences and having gone through a lot of experiences in your life. You've learned how to handle those things effectively, even though they may still get to you every once in a while. But this is also driving. This is the drive that is putting you in the energies of wanting to balance things out and combining two or more words together in an equal way. So don't let your past hardships or experiences affect you, but you will extract the wisdom and knowledge from these past hardships so that you can move effectively and sufficiently during the second half of the Sun transition in the sign of Libra. Now with the King of Swords is clarified by the Knight of Pentacles. So with the Knight of Pentacles clarifying the King of Swords, this is you moving methodically, slowly, practically, once again, towards what you want and desire. But you must watch out for procrastination while doing so. But this is why you are up in your head, because you're not wanting to make mistakes during this time. Mind you, the Sun is opposite Chiron, so we're doing our best to not make mistakes, or we're running away from mistakes altogether. So with that being said, with the Knight of Pentacles clarifying the King of Swords, this is why you are in your head, is because you're doing your best to act practical and not make mistakes along the way during the second half of the Sun transition in the second half of Libra. Now with the Four of Cups is clarified by the Ace of Swords. So the Ace of Swords is talking about the spark of a new idea during this time, and from this idea it is putting you into a place of discontentment. I'm not sure what this idea is, or clarity is. It could also be clarity, excuse me, but whatever the case may be, it is putting you into an energy of feeling discontent during the second half of the Sun transition in the sign of Libra. Don't let this affect you in any way, but instead allow yourself to extract the wisdom and knowledge that you've gained from the past, and learn how to effectively implement this idea into the present moment, regardless of how discontent you feel. So now with the Star card is clarified by the Page of Swords. So the Page of Swords is talking about you adapting yourself to the situation and circumstance at hand, as well as needing to watch out for your thoughts before you communicate them. Don't communicate, because this is a page. Pages are about studentship or learning along the way, being a student. So you may communicate something that you don't mean to out of immature communication, but with the clarifying Star card, by you adapting yourself to your circumstance or situation, you are healing along the way during the second half of the Sun transition in the sign of Libra. So, that being said, let's move on to the Moonology Oracle deck. Let's see what Mother Moon has to say to you through me to end the reading off. see what Mother Moon has to say to you too. Now your first card for Mother Moon to you through me is Gibbous Moon. You're very close to achieving your goal. So you are very close to achieving your goal. You must not give up on yourself at this time, or focus on this discontentment and what you no longer have. As we saw here with the Five of Cups and the Four of Cups. Not respectively, but Four of Cups meaning discontentment, and Five of Cups meaning focusing on what is no longer in your life. And don't let that affect you. Remember that, keep in mind also that the things that are supposed to, if they were meant to be in your life, they would still be in your life, so don't focus on that negative. And know that you're very close to achieving your goal as long as you keep focused on your goals itself during the second half of the sun, transitioning the sign of Libra. Now your second card for Mother Moon to you through me is New Moon in Virgo, a time to give rather than take. So this is a time to give rather than take during the second half of the sun, transitioning the sign of Libra. So with that being said, give what you can, and don't take a lot from others, because like Mother Moon says, there's a time to give rather than take, and this could even be for yourself, meaning give to yourself and don't take away from yourself during the second half of the sun, transitioning the sign of Libra. Now, your last card, but definitely not least, for Mother Moon to you through me is Full Moon in Capricorn. The end of a tough cycle approaches. So the end of a tough cycle is approaching for you during the second half of the sun, transitioning the sign of Libra. So just know that even though there's a lot of disgruntled energies, that the end of a tough cycle is approaching for you during the second half of the sun, transitioning the sign of Libra. So don't worry too much about it, don't overthink about it, and know once again that the end of a tough cycle is approaching for you during this time. And with that being said, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Jupiters, are for this general reading for y'all. I hope this helps. I hope this brought clarity or aids you in any way. Shout out to the whole Soul family. Shout out to Darling Primal Man. Y'all be blessed. Remember that you'll never be less. Y'all take care and peace.